Hello everybody, Jennifer Maker here. Today we are going to learn how to cut a beautiful lamp made completely from cardstock. Isn't this amazing? I can't wait to show you how easy it is to put together. Let's head on over to my craft table and we'll get started. I don't know about you, but I'm always so blown away by cool creations like this that are made completely from cardstock. That's why I thought it would be so fun to show you how to make your own paper lamp today. So let's talk about supplies. The most important part of any paper project is good quality cardstock. I'm using 80-pound white textured cardstock, but you can definitely mix it up with another color combination if you want. To hold the pieces together, you need Scotch tape, double-sided tape, and some craft glue. And we'll light it up with some fairy lights and this adorable mason jar, which I will explain how we use in this video. I cut everything on a cutting machine, specifically the Cricut Maker 3, but you can cut this on nearly any machine. And since these cuts are so precise and intricate, you'll definitely want a nice and clean sticky mat and these handy tools to help. If you struggle getting clean cuts with your Cricut, you are in the right place. Today I'm sharing my all-time favorite tip about cleaning your blades and getting more consistent cuts. So are you ready to make some magic with me? Let's get started. Step 1, get my free paper cut lamp design files. Go to jennifermaker.com/471 and look for libraries in the red bar at the top. Then either click Get a Password if you don't yet have one, or click Enter the library. You can find the designs on the page by searching for number 471 and then click it to download the zip file. The download folder includes SVG files for use with the Cricut cutting machine in this tutorial. To begin, upload the SVG to Cricut Design Space. If you're not sure how to do this, go to jennifermaker.com/svgs to learn how to unzip and upload files. Step 2, prepare the design files. This is what my paper cut lamp looks like in Cricut Design Space. If you zoom out a bit and click Ungroup in the Layers panel, you can separate the layers out so you can see them all. You will notice 3 of the layers contained grouped objects. I designed it this way so it would be easy to tell what pieces go together. The layer with the moon will be the innermost part of the lamp, followed by the mountains, the wolf layer, and finally the fox layer. The white pieces make up the base. The paper cut lamp design will upload to the proper size and no further adjustments are needed. Make sure the operation is set to basic cut, and that's it for the prep. Step 3, cut and weed your lamp layers. Make sure the right machine is selected at the top and then click Make It. If you're prompted, choose On Mat 12x12 and click Confirm. On the Prepare screen, there should be a total of 7 mats. There is nothing else to change, so click Continue. I selected medium cardstock as my base material. If that's not already in your favorites, click Browse All Materials to select your base material. You can find it by using the search window and typing cardstock and then making your selection. I will change the pressure to more to get the cleanest cuts. I'll also check the Remember Material Settings box since I'm using the same material for each mat. Place your cardstock on a blue light grip machine mat. You can also use the green standard grip mat. However, I found that the blue light grip worked just slightly better for cutting the intricate parts of this design. The super important part is making sure the cardstock is well adhered to your machine mat. Use a brayer and make a couple of passes to make sure it's really on the mat. Double check that the fine point blade is loaded in clamp B, and then load the first mat into your machine and press the flashing button to begin. When the cut is finished, unload the mat and flip it over to carefully remove the cardstock. This helps prevent the material from curling and ripping. When you get to the mats with the more intricate cuts, you may find that some smaller bits do not want to release from the mat. Just use a spatula to carefully lift them off the mat. Remember to be gentle around the small, delicate edges of the design. Once the design is completely released from the mat, check the back and front to make sure all cut areas are clean. Use a weeding tool or tweezers to gently pop out or pull off any bits that are stuck. And don't worry too much if the edges of your trees or the tufts of grass look a little frayed or get a little bent in the process. It will add texture and dimension to the finished lamp, or as I like to call it, character. And here's that tip I mentioned earlier about getting the best cut. Use a ball of aluminum foil in between mats to clean your blade. Just remove the blade from the clamp, press the plunger down, and carefully poke it into the foil ball multiple times. This cleans off any tiny bits of debris that might get stuck on the blade. A clean blade equals a clean cut, and it's truly one of my favorite tips. Make sure to return the blade to the clamp once it's clean. I have more tips and tricks for getting a clean cut over on my blog at jennifermaker.com/blades. And you can use a scraper tool to remove all of the remaining bits and pieces of cardstock left behind. Now everything is cut and you're ready to assemble. Step 4, assemble your paper lamp. Here's what all of my cut pieces for the paper lamp look like. There are 8 pieces in all. The layer with the moon will be the innermost part of the lamp, followed by the mountains, the wolf layer, and finally the fox layer. The wolf and fox layers are made up of 2 pieces we will put together by connecting these tabs. The circle pieces make up the base. I've also included this handy printable in the design file that you can print out and keep nearby to use as a reference during assembly. Let's start with the innermost layer, which is the moon, and work our way out. First, we want to add a little curve to the cardstock. There are a few different ways to do this. You can use a brayer and gently roll along the layer lengthwise to create a soft curve, using your hand as a guide. Or you can grab something like a roll of vinyl, a spray can, a rolling pin, or something similar and wrap the cardstock around it to add a curve, and then gently squeeze it into a cylindrical shape. Next, we'll start putting the pieces together. First, make sure each piece is facing the right direction. You can use the Design Space canvas as a reference or the printable reference sheet. Let's start with the innermost layer. Connect the tabs to the corresponding slot. Slide them in gently but firmly. It helps to shift them up or down in their slot to get the next one in. It might feel like a tight fit, but with a little patience, you will get the feel for it. The next layer is the layer with the mountains. Make sure it's facing the right direction. Add a curve with the vinyl roll, just like we did with the first layer, then connect the tabs. It should look like this once it's assembled. Once both inner layers are connected, it's time to assemble the 2 outer layers. Each outer layer is made up of 2 sections. We'll begin with the wolf layer. Again, make sure everything is facing the right way. Connect the sections first, then give that layer a curve with the vinyl roll or whatever you're using, and then connect the end pieces. Repeat the same steps for the outermost layer or the fox layer. Here's a look at each finished layer. So cool, right? Once all your layers are transformed into cylinders, it's time to secure them to the base. Again, starting with the innermost layer, gently pre-fold the bottom tabs inward, making sure the fold is flush with the base. Then straighten the tab back out. This will help in achieving a seamless fit to the base. Next, hold up the base and make sure everything looks symmetrical. You should see 8 tab slots at the top and bottom of the circle. This is super important because if you don't start with everything facing the right direction, you might have to start over, and I wouldn't want you to do that. Now, starting 1 tab at a time, gently slide the first tab into an innermost slot on the base, and repeat until all 6 tabs are secure. Add a small piece of tape to each tab one at a time and firmly but gently pull and tape it to the base. This will ensure the layer stays in place while you work the rest of the tabs in the same way and they are all secure. Next, add your second layer by sliding it over the top. Make sure the seams are aligned before attaching it to the base. Once the second layer is in place, add the next layer and repeat the process. Again, check to make sure everything is lined up before attaching the tabs. Once all layers are attached to the base, we'll add the matching solid piece to hide the tabs. Add some strips of double-sided tape. Use a weeding tool or tweezers to pull off the backing of the double-stick tape. Now, using the precision tip on my Barely Art craft glue bottle, I applied small dots around the edge of the circle and to the areas where there is no tape. This helps ensure the base and its edges are secure. Take the assembled top portion of your lamp and carefully align and attach it to the solid base and push around the edges to secure it. Use the handle end of your spatula or something similar to push down the center of the lamp to help it stick together. Step 5. Light up your lamp. I'm using this tiny mason jar and fairy lights for this. The jar adds some sturdiness to the lamp. I'm going to use a couple strands of fairy lights to add some extra glow. Pull them apart or unwind them a bit first, then drop them in and switch them on. I like to make sure the lights are somewhat evenly spread out in the jar, with some poking out the top to light up the entire inside. Don't you just love how the light shines through all of the layers and gives us such a beautiful glow? You could also add a battery-operated tea light for a nice soft glow and a flicker. This might just be one of my favorite projects yet. I can't wait to see how yours turns out. I hope you'll share some photos with me. If you have any questions about making paper lamps, let me know. Leave your question below this video or come ask in my Cricut Crafters group at jennifermaker.com/cricketcrafters. And that's it for today. Until next time, this is Jennifer Maker reminding you to craft a life you love.